Hello everyone and welcome to our very first lecture of the semester. Unit 1, Singular and Plural Nouns. Nouns are the absolute building blocks of English grammar, and understanding their forms and behavior is key to mastering sentence structure. So let's begin. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to identify different types of nouns and classify them into key categories. You will also apply structural rules for both regular and irregular plural formation while learning to analyze and diagnose common errors in noun usage. Let's start with the basics. What is a noun? Grammatically, a noun is a word used to name a person, for example, a student, a teacher, a place, for example, London, Algeria, a thing, a book, a pen, a paper, a door, for example, a window, or an abstract idea, for example, happiness, anger, sadness. As in terms of syntax, they generally serve as either the subject of your sentence, meaning they perform the action before the verb, or as the object after the verb. Look at our example here in Julia likes puppies. Julia is our subject and the puppies is our object. Nouns are broadly split into common and proper categories. Proper nouns designate unique, specific names of people, places, or institutions, and in English they must always begin with a capital letter. Like Ali, for example, the A is always capitalized. For a city, for example, as we can see in the table, London, the L is capitalized. For a country, Brazil or Algeria, the B in Brazil or the A in Algeria is always capitalized. On the other hand, however, common nouns are generally lowercase terms like book, table, a river, a lake, a mountain, a planet. These are common nouns and do not require capitalization. Now, let's discuss grammatical number, singular and plural. Singular simply means one, and common singular nouns are typically preceded by an article, a, an, or the number one. For example, a truck, an umbrella, the bank, one sandwich, one book. Plural, on the other hand, means two or more. For regular nouns, we structurally form the plural by adding an s or es suffix to the base noun, converting one banana, for example, into two bananas. Let's break down the four primary spelling patterns for regular plurals. First, we simply add an s to the most standard nouns, like bananas, flowers, and boys. Second, if a noun ends in a consonant plus y, we drop the y and add ies, turning candy into candies and puppy into puppies. The third rule says for nouns ending in hissing sounds like s, sh, x, or sh, we add es, giving us buses, boxes, and dishes. Keep this rule in mind as it directly impacts our pronunciation later in the lecture. Finally, for nouns ending in a consonant plus o, we also add es, as seen in potatoes, tomatoes, and heroes. Mastering these basic morphological shifts will make it much easier for you to teach these spelling rules to your future pupils. Let's look at a quick special note on regular spelling. If you try adding a simple s to words like fox, bush, or bench, you'll find it phonetically impossible to pronounce it without adding an extra syllable. This is why these structures strictly require an es, so it becomes foxes, bushes, and benches. Also, remember our previous rule about nouns ending in o. If that o is preceded by a vowel, we don't add es, we just add a standard s, as seen in studios and portfolios. Irregular nouns, on the other hand, do not follow the standard rule. and instead undergo internal changes. For example, child becomes children, man with an A becomes men with an E, mouse becomes mice. Let's break down these spelling shifts. We have internal vowels changes like foot to feet, tooth to teeth. We have vowels and consonant mutations like person to people or mouse to mice. We add specialized endings like children. We also observe ending transformations such as F turning to VES in knives, or classical Latin roots changing from us to I, as in cacti, and is to es in crisis. Finally, some nouns undergo absolutely no spelling changes at all, like deer or species. Here is another crucial distinction regarding grammatical number. Some English nouns have no singular form at all. They are inherently plural, such as scissors, trousers, and cattle. On the other hand, mass nouns like gold, wheat, and corn are always singular. However, as future language teachers, keep this advanced nuance in mind. We can occasionally use these in the plural, like sugars or milks, but only when we are specifically meaning different types or varieties of that item. Now let's transition to a critical phonology focus. How do we actually pronounce that plural S ending? It is determined by the final sound of the singular noun. Rule number 1 states that if a noun ends in a voiceless soft sound like th, k, p, t, or th sound, we pronounce the plural ending as a crisp S. Listen and practice with me. Roofs, maps, months, books, cats, ropes. Notice how the ending remain entirely unvoiced. Rule number 2 focuses on voiced endings. If the singular noun ends with a voiced sound where your vocal cords vibrate such as b, d, g, l, m, or indeed any vowel sound, the plural S must be pronounced as a vibrant Z sound. Let's try this together. Beds, dogs, girls, vans, bananas, trees, plays. Feel that subtle vibration in your throat as you voice the ending. Our third and final rule is for sibilant and the buzzing, hissing, or rushing sounds like s, z, sh, and ch. When a noun ends with these sounds, adding an s creates an extra spoken syllable pronounced as is. Practice these with me. Kisses, batches, quizzes, boxes, bridges, prices, wishes, garages. Now think about the word bus. It's plural, buses, ends in a sibilant, so it's pronounced as buses. Before we conclude today's lecture, let's do a comprehensive progress check. Look at the questions on the screen. For question 1, which sentence is grammatically correct? A, she have 2 childs. B, she has 2 children. And C, she has 2 childs. She has 2 children is the correct answer, as children is the correct irregular plural form and has agrees with she. For question 2, how do we classify our nouns? Is pen a proper or a common noun? And is Starbucks a proper or common noun? The correct answer for pen is a common noun, and Starbucks is a proper noun, which is why it is capitalized. To apply what you have learned today, please complete your production task. In your academic notebooks, draft 6 distinct sentences, 2 containing a singular noun, 2 with a regular plural, and 2 utilizing irregular plural. Pay close attention to your spelling and subject-verb agreement. Once you have self-assessed your sentences, verify correct plural spellings and subject-verb agreement again. This brings us to the formal end of Unit 1. Thank you all so much for your time, attention, and active focus today. Please make sure to complete your notebook homework, double check your plural pronunciation rules, and review any tricky spellings patterns we have covered. I will see you all in our next video lecture, where we will dive into Unit 2, Countable and Uncountable Nouns. Have a great week and happy studying!